Hello, dear ones. This is Bevin with Perceptive Souls. And I don't know about you, but some of my nights have been restful sleep, and other times I find myself waking up early or in the middle of the night. And thought I would just get on to do your collective energy reading today. I'm here in my pajamas because, hey, why not, right? We're all working from home. We're all getting a peek inside each person's private domicile. And so here I am in all of my morning glory to bring you a really important topic today. And that is an exploration of the inner and the outer. The in-breathing and the out-breathing. The external world and our deep inner connectedness. And as I sat in meditation and pulled these cards, which actually came out yesterday, they showed up in this duality over and over and over. And I thought there was some really important themes to explore here as we move out of this sort of hustle culture, fast-paced, be out in the world, and we go within as a collective. So the first card that I drew was this one here, right? It's a person striving, right? Pushing forward, slogging through, hustling, putting in the hard work. You see all these knots and bindings, right, that we're trying to pull away from. And one of the words that came was contraction, right? Contraction. And we think to ourselves, well, I don't really like the word contraction. For example, when our muscles contract, sometimes we have pain or soreness or stiffness. When our hearts contract, sometimes we put up a wall and we can't let other people in, for example. And right now, as we all contract back into our homes, as we isolate ourselves to protect the most vulnerable and most susceptible in our society, contraction may not feel very comfortable. I know it doesn't for me. You know, when you live alone, well, I sort of live alone. I have a wonderful feline companion, but when you live alone, being isolated as an introvert at first feels great. And then it's like, oh, I really miss getting out and having hugs and connecting with my people. And so contraction can be really uncomfortable for us because almost everything that we built, from the Great Pyramids to going to outer space to building giant skyscrapers to massive multinational, international corporations to the United Nations, everything is bigger, right? I live in Texas, so they say that everything's bigger in Texas. And so when we feel this constraint, right, when we feel like we're slogging through, and we have all these ties that bind us, it feels really uncomfortable to be contracted. And last night I got online and I connected with my local ecstatic dance community, but we did it virtually. And this is what I was dancing for, this expansion and contraction, this in-breathing and out-breathing. And when I would move my body into this contracted state, sort of a fetal position, it actually hurt. It felt really uncomfortable, right? So as a spiritual seeker, it feels much better for me when I'm in this expansive mode, when I'm opening myself, opening my heart, opening my energy system. And yet what I'll say through this reading is that there is a benefit to both. Like we wouldn't say, I'm only going to exhale, or I'm only going to inhale, right, to breathe. We need both of those energies, those flows going in and out. And so when we have this really kind of bound up energy where we're trying to expand, sometimes what we need to do is just allow ourselves to contract, right? to allow ourselves to rest, to lay down, to take a nap, to not do as much. And then what happens when we go within, ironically, is that we expand, right? This is the vision quest. This is coming into a place of harmony and balance. This is opening ourselves, but it's an opening from the inside out. And there's nothing wrong with physical manifestation of creating. We're here to do that, right? We're here. We go on this vision quest when we get quiet, when we tune in and we tap into what is inside of ourselves, to our own individual connection to source. Then the expansion eases. You see, there's no tension in this body whatsoever. There's an openness, a willingness to receive. It's not a desire to hold control, a desire to receive. And in receiving, we then expand. We open up our literal lungs, the lungs of our planet, our figurative spiritual lungs, to receive everything that we're meant to have. So the next pair of cards really mirrors this in some ways. And this particular image, the only thing that kept playing through my mind was the Soundgarden song, Black Hole Sun, right? It's like, won't you come and wash away the rain? And the rain for me represents grief that we've had and that we still hold as a collective about where we've come as a human species. There's some beautiful things. Sorry, I'm trying to get it so it's not so, doesn't have so much glare. There's some beautiful things we've created as a human species. And we're amazing. We're incredible. And yet there's some things that we've radiated out there that have really been detrimental to each other and to our planet. And now we're finally opening up and we're speaking about that. We've seen that through activism. We've seen that happening in politics. We've seen that happening in so many aspects of our life. People getting on social media, people blogging, people YouTubing, talking about where are we going? What are we doing? Is all of this expansion, endless use of resources, treating people like other, treating people as less than. This is where we want to be. And that black hole sun is actually inviting us to wash away the rain, wash away the grief, start fresh and anew. Last night I got on YouTube and they have these free movies, which sometimes are good and sometimes are really silly or strange. And I kind of like that anyway. And I watched this movie called The Beyond. And this strange energy shows up right outside the orbit of the Earth. And they call it the void. And I was like, oh, I've been to the void. I know about the void. And everyone on Earth was scared because this strange energy field, this strange entity had showed up. And as it turned out, it was benevolent, right? So we assumed that something we didn't understand was going to hurt us, was going to scare us. And this is a part of our humanness, right? We have this survival instinct, and the familiar feels more safe. So it feels more safe to think that at some point we're going to go back and everyone's going to go back to their 9-to-5 job and the economy is going to restore itself and everything is going to happen the way it did before. And my personal belief is that we've crossed a threshold, and that's not really possible anymore. There may be aspects of our previous world that we go back to, but this is a washing away of the rain. This is a washing away of the grief, because I believe that as people have come to stay home with their families, as they've made interpersonal connection a priority right now, as they've started to go within to see, like, well, which personas and which voices are speaking inside of my head right now? Who's talking in there? Is this my own connection with source? Or am I being really influenced by outside sources? We start to see that the way of life that we've had is not really sustainable for the majority of people on our planet. And our leaders at all levels of society, and you out there who are leaders in your family, or leaders for a cause that you volunteer for, or leaders of organizations and companies and governments, you are all faced with, what decisions do we make now in an uncertain world, in an uncertain future? And the way that we start to do that is by contracting back and going within, reconnecting with who we really are, reconnecting with what's important to us as a world, as different countries, as human beings with each other, and starting to see each other as one, as all connected, versus as the other. And I've seen many people out there who are in this place, right, for a variety of reasons. Either they're really fearful about getting sick, or they are really fearful about what's going to happen to them financially. They're worried about the stock market. They're concerned about all kinds of things. Like, their world has been shaken to the core. You know, they're down in the depths here. She's down in the depths. And there's a lot of resources. There's all this light coming in, all of these fish, beautiful coral. She can't see any of it, right? She can't see any of it. And it's okay, because going through this grieving process, washing away the rain, it allows us to release. And sometimes that's the expansion, right? When all of this energy, all of these emotions, we've been holding it so tightly, so contracted within us. And we decide, you know what? I'm going to go within, and I'm going to see what's there. And seeing what's there can be kind of scary. You can see that she's not really necessarily having a very good time of it. And I've seen people being angry. I've seen people being really afraid. But when we start to realize there's all of these resources, right, we're always provided for. We're always provided for. Then we come into the King of Fire, right? It's a really strong, it's kind of like the strength card right in the tarot, the strong Leo energy. And the king is decisive. The king is practical. It's about taking action in this practical world. If we cannot fix the whole system, which we cannot, it's going to take millions and millions of us collectively to reinvent our world, our financial system, how we interact with each other, what's important. So what are the small steps that we can take? Because a king doesn't go out there. King's not out here doing this, right? King's not out there striving and striving and striving and striving and getting nowhere. A king steps back, looks at the big picture, and uses the fire energy in a very focused way. Right? So I'm an Aries. I love the fire energy. And there have been times in the past when the fire energy for me has just been like all over the place, right? And it's a learning how to hone each of those elements, right? So we have the air energy, which is our mental element. And that is, how do we hone and really focus our mental thoughts in a way that is affirming and positive and beneficial for ourselves and others. And then we have this emotional piece, right? The cups. How do we How do we feel our emotions, acknowledge them, and not let them run away with us? How do we take the earth energy, right? Very grounded earth energy, and we apply that in a way that allows us to take action. So this is the king, and the king is calm, radiant, right? Taking action from an inspired place of strength, of really thinking through the long-term ramifications of what we have going on. Not just expansion for the hell of expansion, but expansion in a way that is beneficial to everyone in the kingdom, right? And so for a really long time, we've been really in this energy. And I know it seems strange because it's very abstract. But you see, there's been duality, right? The red and the green, the black and the white, the Piscean era, the two fishes, good and evil, all of it holographically reflected. A lot of need here to control, to order our world, to figure out the pattern, and to manipulate that and to control that. And that time is ending, right? For us to be in this place, for us to realize that we don't really have that control. We don't really have all of that need to do that. Because as a matter of fact, when we start to access that inner light, what wants to flow out just flows naturally, and it expands exponentially with very little effort. Okay. And that light shines in all directions. And there is no need to try to make this happen. This is already occurring, right? We already know that our world and our universe and everything that is in creation is mathematically intertwined, that there's formulas and proportions. Like, we don't actually need to create this. It's already there. What we're doing is we're harnessing that energy, and we're learning how to allow it to flow, how to be adaptable, right? Okay, first the triangle's going this way. Whoop, we're going to go this way a little bit more. Now we're going to go this way a little bit more, right? So flexibility, adaptability, letting go, letting things expand organically, as opposed to trying to hone in and to control. So this is a little bit about the in-breathing and the out-breathing expansion that's going on in our world right now. A lot of people are going within, contracting back, pulling back from the scale, from the hustle, and so that we can then out-breathe in a different manifestation. And then we come to this beautiful card, the Padma Sundari. And the message is, out of darkness, the light is born. You see all of this incredible activation, right? Beautiful heart activation. I mean, just immense. The tapestry of this world. The lotus fully blossoming. And the balance in the right hand and the left hand. So much going on here. So much activation at the third eye. Tapping into that intuitive knowing. No longer really needing to look around everywhere in the earth, all around us, and see, what do we think? What do we believe? What do we know? This is about going within, getting clear about, what do you know? What do you know about why you're here? What do you know about what your role is in this sacred dance, right? Because we're entering into the sacred dance. You have a light, everyone else has a light. And what we produce together gets co-created in that moment. And so when we start to go within and we go on that vision quest, say this is a perfect opportunity to go on that vision quest. And I've been sitting in deep meditation every day and communing with nature and drumming and dancing my body and nourishing myself and resting and sleeping and also serving. but serving from a balanced place, from this energy here. It's not a frenetic energy. It's an energy that is sustainable and expandable. So I want to tell you a little bit more about Padma Sundari, right? Out of darkness, the light is born. The light is powerful enough to survive exposure to the darker side of humanity and to remain pure, empowered, and effective. Trust in your spiritual purpose as a light in this world. Trust particularly in your ability to bring purity, order, grace, and light to disorder, chaos, and destruction. The divine is ever by your side and ever within your heart, assisting you with this higher purpose in all ways. Part of your spiritual path requires that you walk your talk, excuse me, and live in a way that shows optimism and practicality. When something's not working, we don't need to hide from it in shame. We face it because we have spiritual self-esteem and self-confidence. When we choose courage, we can confront what isn't working and are able to search for answers, rather than becoming overwhelmed or afraid of any darkness. Remember that the Holy Mother is with you and within you. With your active participation, she will bring you everything you need to confront and tackle any issue, no matter how intimidating it may seem, one step at a time. Along with the power of your divine connection, you have the intelligence and ability to find information, to educate yourself, to try out new behaviors, so as to become an active part of the solution for any matter that moves you deeply. Taking these steps will boost your self-esteem and your energy levels, helping you feel good about yourself and your presence in the world. It's not about being perfect. It's just about taking that next step for you. Trust in divine timing, realizing there's a far-reaching good that can happen through you as you continue to be actively engaged with life and your inner divine relationship. Believe in what we can and will accomplish together through our passionate love affair with Great Spirit and our adoring devotion to the Earth Mother and her children. So this is a powerful, powerful message, my friends, about exploring your own contraction from a place of needing to go within to connect deeply versus contraction from fear. Expansion from expanding your light and your unique spark and fulfilling your purpose in the world versus needing to scale and have more and gain and have power over, right? So the in-breathing and the out-breathing can be expressed in such a positive, affirming way. And I thank you so much for joining me today. There is information in the description box below and how to contribute if you found that this collective energy reading is very helpful to you. I also have ways that you can work with me. I'm a coach and mentor for intuitive empaths, light workers, and conscious leaders. I have a beautiful private community, and I also do one-to-one mentoring. So please connect with me. You're welcome to like and subscribe or even share this video if you found it to be helpful. I appreciate you joining me here in my home, hanging out in my bathrobe early in the morning, and tapping in to our ability to sense into collective energy. Look out there in the world and see where you feel this natural rhythm of the in-breathing and the out-breathing, the expansion of contraction. Look at how this is showing up for you. And I just honor who you are as this gorgeous, gorgeous light on our planet. Thank you for being here at this time. I appreciate however you're serving and however you're making a difference in your part of the world. Namaste.